Okay, we're going to talk about how horrible the news media is again. We have a video clip right now up at the channel about what's wrong with journalism, featuring our good friend and the founder of Students for War, Dave Weigel, the reporter from the Washington
Friend of the
Post,
show.
who's founded Students for War.
Students for War. That's like an Onion headline.
It is an Onion headline. It is an Onion headline. Star reporter at Washington Post organizes pro-war rally to counter journalists. That's what he was doing. To counter journalists telling the truth about the Iraq War. And of course, Jeff Bezos, who sits on the frickin' Pentagon board, says, hire that guy. That'll be our reporter guy. The guy who's pro-war. The Republican right-wing guy.
I like him.
The guy with the 70s porno mustache. Anyway, here goes the story. So here you're going to see just how bad the news media is in America and how they function exactly as if they were the CIA. You think I'm kidding? Okay, so you know the story, right? This is Newsweek. Hunter Biden emails have nothing to do with Russian disinformation, National Intelligence Director says. But are we sure it's not Iran? So that's from October 19th. Hunter Biden emails have nothing to do with Russian disinformation. Okay? But you know that Twitter wouldn't allow the New York Post to post that story or anybody to share it or to tweet it. They were like, this is Russian disinformation. Well, it turns out it's not. Guess what was Russian disinformation? The Steele dossier. They didn't stop it. They didn't. Twitter didn't flag it. Facebook didn't flag it. You could do that. So anyway, here's the Washington Post. Insisting that the Hunter Biden laptop is fake is a trap. So is insisting that it's real. What? What do we do? This is written by Thomas Rid. Thomas Rid is the author of Active Measures, The Secret History of Disinformation and Political Warfare. He's also a professor of strategic studies at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. So you would think he's a real smarty pants guy, and he wouldn't be able to be taken apart by a jagoff in his garage who's probably high right now, right? It's from Johns Hopkins. Super smarty pantsies. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. This is from this article. This is how he decides that they should handle stuff like the Hunter Biden's emails that were, by the way, real, factual, and no one would ask Joe Biden or Hunter Biden to disavow them. Nobody would ask them to do it. One reporter asked them, and Joe Biden wagged his finger at him, and that was it. The easiest way to find out if these are true, ask Joe Biden if they're true, if they're real. Nobody would do that. So here's what it says. Here's what this guy wrote in this article. I'm not making this up. You think I'm making this up? I am not making this up. He says, a close look at the evidence shows that neither Biden nor Trump have the facts on their side for now. Take a step back, and the Russian interference of 2016 holds valuable lessons on what to do and what not to do in 2020. So you know the bogus Russiagate thing that everybody pushed that was completely evidence-free conspiracy theory? That gives us great information on how to handle this. And so how does this guy from Johns Hopkins University decide how to handle it? Are you ready? This is how the press should handle it. Are you ready? You ready? We must treat the Hunter Biden leaks as if they were a foreign intelligence operation, even if they probably aren't. So I'll hold my commentary on this. I'll go right to the big man himself, Glenn Greenwald. Here's what Glenn says. This is absolutely how mainstream United States outlets think. Exactly what is said there by that guy from Johns Hopkins, one of those centrist professor outlets used to elevate their unhinged conspiracy theories with a facade of expertise. We have no idea if this conspiracy is true, but we will say it anyway. So they're going to report it as if it's a conspiracy, even if it probably isn't. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to, what? This is a bit. We've reached a point where editorials are now telling us to pretend and to do the work of the intelligence community. So journalists are supposed to act like they're the CIA writing a story. Let's just go with its Russian disinformation. Let's not be skeptical. Let's not actually try to find out if it's real. Well, how about you find out if it's real? How about you do that? They're real. Not much news information, not much news value in those emails. But now the story is that you guys say this about it. Now this is the story. This is the story now. The story is that they got suppressed. You guys censored it. And now this is the way you're going to handle it? When a piece of information shows up and we have no idea if it's a real conspiracy or not, we just say it is. Unless it's our conspiracy like Russiagate or the Steele dossier or any of that stuff. That's amazing. So what he's saying is our conspiracy theories are going to get great distribution because it'll be in the Washington Post. We have to report things, our conspiracies. We have to report lies as a reflex. Even if they probably aren't. Okay. So this is from the story. We must treat the Hunter Biden leaks as if they were a foreign intelligence operation, even if they probably aren't. Even Chris Hayes doesn't look... First of all, here's Glenn Greenwald. So I made this point in the last segment. This is a great point. There is no question, none, and I've been saying this also, so I don't know why Glenn is copying me. I hate when he does that. But Glenn is here. It's Glenn copying me. He says there is no question, none, that mainstream U.S. news outlets disseminate more unhinged, unproven conspiracy theories and do far more damage with them than QAnon or whichever fringe group that you want to focus on can achieve in 1,000 years. See for yourself. And he links to this story. This is stories from the New York Times. Threats and responses. The Iraqis. U.S. says Hussein intensifies quest for A-bomb parts. Completely made up. Here's from the New Yorker. In northern Iraq, there's new evidence of Saddam Hussein's genocidal war on the Kurds and of his possible ties to Al-Qaeda. It's all made up. Here's Chris Hayes. Oh, God. Do you see that? Do you see what it says? This is Jonathan Chait he's got on, and he wrote a book, and here he is pushing this conspiracy theory that has no sourcing at all, just made up. And it says, unlikely but possible that Trump has been Russian intelligence asset since 1987. So that's how crazy far out it would go. They would just go this. Hey, they would even do segments of shit that they knew probably wasn't true. Let's do a segment anyway. Let's just do it. We know this probably isn't true. It's unlikely, but let's go ahead and do a segment on it. Even they think it's bullshit, but they're still doing a segment on it. Isn't that amazing? It is. Even Chris Hayes' face, he's like, I can't. Are we really pushing this bullshit? That's what his face says. How about this? By the way, doesn't he look like he's about to tell Chris Hayes where a bunch of magic rings are hidden? So here's one of those stories. Do you remember this story? There's another one of those. I mean, there's a million of them. I'm just going to pick this one. So as this story was coming out, I was in the Young Turk studio doing Aggressive Progressives, debunking this very story. That many YouTube shows would go on to repeat breathlessly and uncritically that same day. You got to be a fucking willful moron with Trump derangement syndrome to repeat a story like this uncritically. This is It says Manafort held secret talks with Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy. Really? You know what I did? When I saw that headline, I go, wow, where's the pictures? There were no pictures. That building that Julian Assange was in is the most surveilled building in the entire world. There's a camera in every crack of the sidewalk. And they didn't have a picture of Trump's campaign manager meeting with Julian Assange 3 times. That's how you know it was bullshit. They still haven't retracted it. There was another, I don't want to say which magazine. I think it was Politico. I could be wrong. Another ad magazine like that, news organization like that, wrote a story confirming this. U.S. media outlets outside of right-wing sites were desperate not to report the Hunter emails and to block the reporters from doing so. So they just started printing that it was Russian disinformation, knowing there was no basis for that until they could figure out what to do. Mm-hmm. They just started doing that. And there's people on the left still to this day pushing stuff like this, Russian disinformation, or Russiagate in general. They haven't apologized. They haven't stopped. And they did this too. We didn't do that at this show. We knew that was bullshit again immediately. Isn't it amazing that a pothead jagoff in his garage in Pasadena can see through this shit immediately, yet people who dedicate their entire lives to journalism repeat this uncritically? And they're not embarrassed. They don't have a shame button. They get outdone by a fuckface comedian on a daily basis. Because it's easy. It's easy to do out any journalism in America. They suck. They all work for the people they're supposed to be exposing. That's the problem. No purported news outlet has worth if it constrains or censors writers and reporters and forces them to advance the partisan preference of editors or to flatter the ideological presuppositions of their audience. Support independent journalism, only those outlets that are free, like this one. So the people who work for MSNBC and CNN, what they're actually, when you think they're bringing you the news, they're bringing you public relations. They're bringing you public relations. They're bringing you, that's it. They're not bringing you news at MSNBC. The Washington Post now telling you that they printed this. Like, this isn't what they said in a memo back in the back room. This is their... Make sure, even if you don't think it's bullshit Russian conspiracy stuff, say it is. If you don't think it's Russian disinformation, doesn't matter. Just say it is. So when does the boy cry wolf? When does that kick in here? So apparently the people on the left who push Russiagate still aren't stopping or apologizing. They certainly have apologized to me for all the shit they flung at my way. The same people who got Libya wrong, got Venezuela wrong, got fucking Syria wrong. Of course. They got Russiagate wrong. Every fucking thing that was, every talking point that the CIA released, they repeated breathlessly without even questioning it. Anything negative about Donald Trump and Russiagate, they just repeated. Well, the CIA says, the FBI says, and you call yourself a news organization? You're not. You're not. You're a joke of a news organization. A fucking bad joke. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.